Hi everyone, good to see you again. Hope you've had a good week. It's the first time that I've been out for a walk since the new year and I haven't had to wear a scarf. So brighter days are ahead, it's good. Although it is muddier today than it has been any time that I've come out so far. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Anyway, we're going to carry on with our look through Mirror Mirror by Graham Beynon, and we've done a bit of groundwork so far on having a look at our own identity and how we see ourselves, what kind of an image we have made of ourselves by looking at the things about us that we're proudest of, the things that we are like trigger points and stuff, so the things that we hold quite dear to our hearts, and basically what kind of makes us us. So have a look over the last couple of episodes if you haven't already. Anyway, today we're going to have a look at right at the start of the Bible actually, and it's going to be our first sort of dig into the Bible, and to see what the Bible has to say about our image. But yeah, so right from the off in this chapter, Graham Beynon says about how our image of ourselves is shaped by how we think we came about. So first of all, I think one of the biggest things at the moment is if you follow through the idea of evolution and how the Bible came about, how we came about sort of by chance, has a big effect on our identity. So we are sort of top of the food chain, I guess, and if that is by evolution, then that is by chance. So we are basically just lucky, and yeah, and there's no sort of point or reason to that. We are just lucky, and that doesn't give us any value. So the Bible gives us a much more hopeful version of who we are. So it gives us a self-identity which has much more value. And if we look around the world, we know that humans have value. We know that deep down inside us. So if somebody dies or if somebody's killed, then that is a huge shock for us, and it makes us really upset. And if we insult someone, we know that is a big deal because people have value. So I think the way that we look at ourselves as humans doesn't match up to kind of the evolutionary model. We know that humans have value, so what's going on there, basically? And the Bible talks about how we were made in the first place, and God says right at the beginning, when He's about to make humans, He says, "Let us make humans beings in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea, over the birds in the sky, the livestock, and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." So right from the beginning, God is making human beings with a purpose. So we have something to do, which is to rule over the fish of the sea and to rule over the rest of the animals. and the world that we live on. And he says, let us make man, human beings, in our image, which is amazing. So we are created to reflect God, to bear his image, like a photograph or a statue or a living being, like a child. Like a child resembles their parents. So right from the beginning, God says, you are going to bear my image, which is massive. That's a huge deal, and we'll go into quite why that is in a second. But it's very interesting to see how who God is has an effect on the people around us as well. So he says, let us make human beings in our image. Okay, and then later in the Bible he says, so God created them, male and female, he created them. God blessed them and said to them. So we're not meant to be individuals. So right from the beginning, God creates us, one, in his image, two, as a community meant to live with other people and around other people, and three, with a purpose to look after his world, which is amazing. So right at the beginning of the Bible, God not only tells us about who we are, but he gives us a place in the world as well. So he says, you are in my image, and he tells us something to do. So straight away, we are under God in the world. God has made us in his likeness, but we are to be told what to do by God, and we are to live under his rule. But then under us comes the world. So we are to treat the world with respect, and we are to control it and to make it thrive, just like God makes us thrive. And also, so we're under God, we're over the world, but we are alongside other people as well. So we have to treat other people with respect, and we'll come on to that a bit in a minute as well. So we're made in God's image, which is huge. So if we're first going to understand who we are, we need to understand who God is, right? So if you see an image of someone, if you see a painting of someone, you can't say, oh yeah, that looks like that person, without seeing that person first. Okay? So we need to know who God is first, to then understand who we are. Okay? And the Bible talks about sin, and talks about how sin curls us in on ourselves, so we just look at ourselves. So when we say, who am I, we look inside for that answer. And that's a big problem, because if you're trying to work out who a painting is of, you're not going to do it if you're looking inside yourself. You need to look out. And the Bible says that through the word worship in the Bible means to look out. So sin turns us inwards, and worship turns us outwards, which is great. So Graham Bynum says that this view of us having the image of God should make us have a humble dignity. He talks about humble dignity in his book. So we should be able to hold our chests high because we know we have value, but at the same time, because we are under God and God has given us that value, we don't get ahead of ourselves, and we don't get too big for our boots, you know. So it's like a humble dignity, because number one, we are just an image. So let's make human beings in our image. So we are not gods. We are not all powerful. We are not immortal. We are not all loving. We are not all of the things that God is. But we are an important image, a picture, a reflection of God. It's gone worse for me. I found myself in another big puddle. Look at all that. Where have I gone? Goodness me. Hope you can hear that sloshing on the camera. It's quite nice though. So we are just an image. We bear God's reflection, and that should keep us humble, because we know that that the God who made us is perfect and wonderful, and all of those superlatives that we are not. Yeah. But at the same time, we have the image of God, which is incredible. And so we love, and we feel, and we hurt, and we form relationships, and we create, and all of those things that God does, He gives us, and He allows us to enjoy that, which is amazing. And I think the humble dignity comes from knowing that we do have value, that we reflect God like a photograph or a statue or a child. We are sons and daughters of the living God, which is incredible. And we have value because God has given us value. And all the things that you hear about where do you find your value, why are you valuable, we often react to that and go, well, I'm valuable because I'm funny. I'm valuable because I'm attractive. I'm vulnerable because I'm valuable because I have lots of money, because I'm successful, because I'm smart, because I'm worth it. And we look inside, and it's that sin kind of turning us inwards. Yeah, I'm valuable because yeah. And as soon as we start doing that, we lose sight of actually what makes us valuable. Because it's God who makes us valuable. It's God who's given us our value, because He's made us different to animals. He's made us different to the rest of the world. He's chosen us to emblazon Himself on. So you reflect God. You are an image of God because He's put that on you. So when we think, why am I valuable? What is my value? We shouldn't think I am valuable because we should think I am valuable because God has given me value. I'm valuable because God has made me in His image. I'm valuable because God has given me a purpose. That's where we should start. And that is really important, because that then changes the way that we look at everyone else. I'm going to go this way. So it's not just you that has the image of God. It's everyone around you. And it's not, importantly, it's not just Christians that have the image of God. It's everyone. every human being that God has made is emblazoned with the image of God. So when we talk to other people, when we find out their opinions on stuff, when we relate with other people, the way that we treat people should be with that mindset of, you have the image of God as well. You are of value. So not only can we say, I have value because God has given me value and made me in his image, I can look at people around me and I can say, you have value as well because God has given you value. And if God has given you value, then I need to treat you with respect as well. So this week, as you go to school, hang about at home, loads of that at the moment, talk to your parents, talk to your brothers and sisters, chat to people online, all of that. Just have a think about whether you are treating them with the respect of someone who bears the image of God. That's a big challenge. So I'll leave you with that for this week. All right, have a nice week. Speak to you soon. Bye.